Okay, welcome everyone to Jews in Sports, presented by jifoundation.org and aish.com. We are here with Sunny Levi. We're going to go right into the topic as we always do, but she is an incredible person, human being, woman. We'll go into who she is in just a minute, but she's Taekwondo. We'll give you the level and everything after the break, after the intro. But Sunny, so quick question: how does one stay disciplined? Not just everyone gets into things, health and all these things, and it's easy right away. How does someone stay disciplined for the long haul? And there's reasoning to it, because in belts you have to have a lot of time and stuff. But how does someone stay disciplined and for their goals in long term?
Okay, great question. So I think like everyone has that initial spark of inspiration, and it's important to remember that spark because everyone's going to lose it at some point. So you got to hold on to that and then create habits around it. And I think that's so important because habits become routines. And these are things that you will do even on days where you're not maybe feeling, disciplined or motivated or something like that. So just creating habits around it and connecting to the reason you started in the first place is so important, I think. And, maybe also having people on that are role models to you and people that you can look up to that have already, a couple steps ahead or have already achieved something that you want, that you can follow them on their journey or, in your own way, but just kind of notice what they're doing and be inspired by them. And I think another thing is just to be realistic and know that there will be challenges, like nothing is going to be easy, but when you know that in advance, you're more prepared and you can kind of like, fight those challenges and overcome them instead of just being knocked down by them.
It's so interesting. You froze for a second, but it's so interesting when we talk about Frumkeit in Judaism that, it's all about surrounding yourself with so many things, right? Look at Torah and Judaism. It's, hundreds and different laws that keep you here, so it's such an interesting point that it's not just the goal and it's not just the journey. It's all the little habits, all the people you surround yourself with. It's all those things. And Torah, I think, is a prime example of that.
Yeah.
We have laws. Yeah, we have laws like, right, you're not supposed to climb the tree because you might come to break off a branch. That's all these little things keeping you in line for the habit. So I just thought that was a cool comparison.
Yeah.
So let's do the intro, and then we'll be back introducing your journey on this incredible karate Taekwondo thing. Okay, so coming back from the intro, so you are just a pure inspiration to everyone, not just women, but we don't see a lot of Taekwondo people on your level, especially from women. It's amazing because, and please go more into it for people because it's such a unique thing. Each belt for Taekwondo, your seventh, I think it's called Dan degree belt level, and like it's not just like, oh, you go in and you get the qualifications and you go to the person and they tell you what to do, and it's a whole experience. It takes years to even be able to get one, and then there's you can explain because it's cool. Yeah.
So I've been doing this for 35 years.
Woo!
Like almost my whole life, I started when I was young, and I knew from the beginning that I wanted to like become like my grandmaster. Like I just had something in me. I want to be a 10th degree black belt. And everyone's like, that's never going to happen, but okay, let's see if you get your yellow belt, and even that was really hard. And what you're saying, like between belts, there's a waiting period. And as you get higher in rank, the waiting period increases. So, for example, when you're still in the color belts, it could be 3 to 6 months to promote from one to the next, which isn't so bad, but you're building up patience. But by the time you're at black belt level, whatever level you're at, you have to wait that many years before you're eligible to test for the next level. So first degree black belt, first dan, you have to wait 1 year. Second degree, you got to wait 2 years to test for third. Third degree, you have to wait 3 years, right? So I last year tested for a seventh, so I had to wait 6 years in between. And now I'm but it's not just waiting. And that's the thing. It's not like
Right.
I'm just going to wait and go on vacation and come back and think that I'm ever going to be able to pass this test. Like you have to still be in it and still be
Right.
dedicated and disciplined and training and teaching and helping the martial art grow and showing that like it's really part of your life. And I think that's why there's so few. And I think especially, I mean, my master told me, I said I was, there's less than 10 in the United States, 7th degree female black belts. So
There's less than 10?
yeah, at this rank. Yeah.
You're one of 10?
Under his certifying, in
Yeah.
the under the United States certification, like United States National Taekwondo Federation, there are
Right.
different governing bodies. I don't know worldwide how many there are,
So,
but I thought that was interesting, and I totally understand why. I mean, this really is, you have to be really, really dedicated, and
right. Well, with anything, because I was thinking in my head, right? 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. That's probably where people fall off, right? There's so much passion. We always have patterns in ourselves. There's so much passion that you can have, right? Then it switches to what you were saying, and I think we all have this in Torah and stuff. It becomes mundane, right? And so now you have to work to figure out how to make it not mundane, and that's where passion comes in. And so I think obviously what do you tell somebody who says, oh, it's like not possible? Because you're saying people were saying things like, oh, it's hard to continue in this thing. Like, what do you tell people that say like, probably like 35 years, nah, don't go for it?
I've heard that with a lot of things I've attempted in my life. And the truth is, I usually don't want to explain to them. That's just me. I'd rather just show them. I don't want to talk to them. I don't want to be like, I'll show you, you'll see I could do it. Like, you know what? Let me just live my life, and I'm going to follow, my own path. And I don't need to impress you or prove anything to you. I'm just going to do what I do. And if you don't want to believe me that it's possible, you don't have to, like I'm just doing it for myself and for what I believe in, what I want. And I just find that the more that you stick with something, like if you have like a certain perception on it, you just keep finding more and more and more depth. Whereas certain people could just be like, okay, I'm done. I know it all. Like I'm burnt out by it. It's the same old thing. But I find like when I do, let's say my hook kick for like the 25,000th time, like it's different. Like it's really different than when I did it for like the 10th time and the 100th time and the 1,000th, and when I teach, I don't know, I just keep finding more layers of depth. And I find also so many metaphors in it, which really I find to be so cool, because I'm sort of like using these metaphors to help people in really different ways. So I've transitioned a little, like I'm still teaching martial arts, but I'm doing this coaching where I'm able to like kind of take principles from martial arts and make it into like a mental martial arts, situation. Like, how do you spar against negative thoughts? How do you get back up when you're knocked down? Well, the same way in martial arts, you learn to fall right away because you're going to get knocked down. Like, in life, we don't know we're going to get knocked down. So we tend to fall down and stay down, or we don't know how to get up. But you got to be a master at getting up. You got to be a master at falling down. You got to know how to protect yourself and hit back from negative emotions and just things like that. So I find that it's really interesting to just make it metaphoric too. And that students who are interested in martial arts can go really far, like in their mindset too, with these metaphors.
There's so much here. It's like, this was way more than I thought was going to be in this interview, because there's so many lessons in a sense. There's so much more to this. There's living, there's livelihood, there's, what do you think then stops somebody, right, from achieving their goal? Let's say your goal is to be a 10th, right? And that's like, you can't even think about that now, right? It's just so far off. What keeps, why do you think people don't go toward that? Because you said so many benefits of it, right? Why do you think people give up and not go and don't go there to this 35 years journey of intense,
Right. Well, I think there's so many reasons, because for some people, maybe they're not as passionate, or maybe life really is too busy, or they have an injury and they just can't do it. There's all those types of reasons, which really are really valid. But you're asking for somebody who thought they wanted it and then didn't keep trying.
I think that's what I'm asking, because I think you have a good perspective in that sense. For example, fitness. eating well. These are all health, wellness. These are all things most, people that are watching this want to do. They sit there, they're like, yeah, and then they don't do it. And it's, from somebody who has constantly done it for years and years and years. It's not just like a year or two or three, why do you think they don't, because they want it so much, why do you think they say no?
Right. I think maybe the goal seems so far out of reach. And I think that it's important to take baby steps and to do small things, and to like just remember that those small things are big. And like the way I see it is like, let's say you're going this way, and like you just do like a little, let's say 10 years from now, if you keep going straight, you'll be here. But right now, like if you just do a little shift, 10 years from now, you'll be here.
Right.
You'll go in such a different place. And it's like, I think we don't give credit to like how the small actions really do add up over time, day by day. They're going to take you in another direction. And I think we have to like maybe make bite-sized goals out of things, instead of, because nobody can reach something that big, that far away.
That's people make you're nailing it. I'm hearing it from so many people. Once it's a toolbox. Once you put all the little tools in, then you'll be able to meld those into a huge tool. And I think people really want it so bad. A lot of times they want to be healthy so bad. They do all these drastic things, and they don't realize. I had a beautiful thing from a Spartan, the head, not Jewish, female Spartan racer, Lindsay Webster, who said, I want to have a diet that's the same as when I'm 80.
Right.
You want it, it's not, anyway. So let's pivot to, because it's, Taekwondo, it's self-defense, it's empowerment, strength. It's, you've basically put this into your mind, right? Because you've been doing it for so long and so intensely. With self-defense, especially with a lot of Jews feeling very uncomfortable with anti-Semitism, whether they should or shouldn't, whatever the point is, a lot of people are. What is the key to self-defense? Should Jews be preparing themselves? Should it be more mentally? Should it be more physically? What is self-defense in your mind?
That's a great question. A lot of people have been asking me. I have been for so long, I've been saying like self-defense should just be taught in school to every child the way they teach math. Like it's just so important. And when it comes to anti-Semitism,
I'm going to stop you there. Why is it so important? But without anti-Semitism, just self-defense in general. Yeah.
Well, because it's first of all, having the knowledge of how to defend yourself is so vital. And a lot of times just knowing that you can defend yourself and having that confidence already is a red light to a potential attacker, because they feel it and they sense fear, and they sense like a victim mentality, and they go on that, that's like the biggest green light for them. So just having that, like, I don't want to say, like, a lot of high level black belts, they don't fight. They don't get in fights. Why? Because something about them, people just aren't going to mess. I'm not saying I'm immune to it, that nobody should ever think they're immune to being attacked, but there's an energy that we all have. And I think that the mindset of martial art, of self-defense, which is different than martial arts, but why it's important to be trained in it. And by the way, the training should be physical and mental. I don't believe physical is enough, because people can freeze up. Just like if somebody has a weapon and they're so panicked, they can't even think to reach for it.
Right.
And I've worked with people who have been so scared. Like one woman was being mugged, and she took out her pepper spray. Yeah. And she just held it and screamed. Like the way if I saw a cockroach, like I would just like, I'm so afraid of it. Like, just, and like he took it from her and sprayed it on her and attacked her. And because like your mind is going to control your body, right? So we need to learn things that like how to breathe, how to visualize, how to have that control. And part of self-defense training, at least the way I teach it, and this doesn't sound pretty, but it's not to make anyone paranoid, but it's really to imagine something happening and imagine yourself doing what it takes to, disable or really like hurt the other person, and see yourself winning and see it happening and face the fear and feel the feelings that it brings up inside of you. Most people don't want to go there in their mind. Like they feel like it's going to make them paranoid or make them like, aggressive, and like, that's not true. It's already preparing it in your head. It's just like if you want to do anything really well in life, it's good to visualize it in advance. So
Right.
when it comes to self-defense, knowing what to do, knowing that if somebody is going to attack you, they're going to be so regretful that they even bothered, like that's the way I like they will
in your mind, right? It's like you rewire your brain to say like, I feel bad for them if they come after me, right? And that is a different message rather than, oh, no, don't come after me, right?
Right.
And I've said it with anti-Semitism particularly, and you can give our thoughts quickly on this, but I've always said that anti-Semitism hate is a bullying effect. This is a broken record. I think people have heard me say this a ton now. And they project their pain onto others. But what bullies do is they look for their victims. It's called scouting. And so they know if you react. So unfortunately, we're giving a platform to anti-Semitism because we are so fearful and scared. And so if we can rewire our brains to say, joke's on them, I want them to come after me, is a different message that you're sending yourself, more importantly, rather than the person trying to hurt you.
Right.
So with anti-Semitism, in your opinion, should we be teaching self-defense classes to kids in general, which seems like you're saying we should, not just because of anti-Semitism? And should we be teaching adults certain self-defense classes and things?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. To me, it's like, there's so many things in life we have to learn. I'm just, like we learn how to read, we learn how to drive a car. I just think that everybody should know, and they don't have to be experts, but just to know a few basic moves that could protect you and save your life and really hurt the other person enough that you can run away and spare your life. I mean, it's like learning how to swim to me. It's like this is, and hopefully no one ever needs it, but why would you not? It's so quick to learn.
And I think more to what your point was saying also, it's more of the empowerment concept. It's more of on the mental side. Yes, okay, great. You have these skills that we hope you never learn, but it's more so that way you can, it's the same way parents teach their kids, to not quit. It's a not even a skill. It's a personality trait that I think, to your point, I just never thought of that kids should be learning. And it's so cool to hear, like, it should be in same way you teach art and you teach, music, it should be in schools.
Right. I mean, just the way you would teach a kid, that what's not appropriate, and how to just protect themselves from certain type of, pedophiles and other terrible things that are out there. They should just know, this is how I can block myself. This is how I can really hit back and hurt somebody even stronger than me, because I know vital spots and vital strikes, and just basic. To me, that's just like I teach my kids. And, for my daughter example, like, God forbid she should never have to use it, but I would really feel bad for anything.
Good, right. So to end off here, because I really appreciate this. This was what a wonderful conversation to have. In a sense, I mean, you're so cool, but it's such a unique perspective from somebody who really has studied self-defense, anti-Semitism, how, your goals, right? Being focused, long disciplined stuff. I think I learned a lot. So I appreciate your time. Anyone who wants to reach out to you, we'll put in the description of this Facebook page, of the Facebook post, to reach out to you, because you're just so motivational and amazing. So thank you so much for your time. And as I like to say, if anyone does anything today, if you didn't get impacted by this video, at least smile and go inspire others. So, but hopefully you got impacted today. So take care, everyone. Thanks so much. Bye.